Wow.
Andy.
Hizu.
Yeah, look, he can barely believe his eyes. A 4-bet to 32,000, and he just got here and got aces. What do you guys have?
How nice is this for him right here? He has aces. He's playing it slow, and everyone else is raising it up, including his opponent who has 7 high. Now he's kind of just got to figure out exactly what to do. I mean,
double me
gonna
up
use
on
a
that
time
order
bank
right
in
there,
order to
whoever's
arrive
all
at
over
that choice.
It's kind of a tricky spot in terms of sizing.
Well, a flat of this 4-bet begins to really narrow his range significantly, does it not?
This sizing to me is a little big, but it gets the job done and takes the pot down.
Pua with the 2 queens makes it 3K.
Games, smaller ones, like 50K, 30K buy-in US.
Nice little tiny 50K US 100 BB game.
Oh, you flies.
Pass out some chopsticks and see who's got the dexterity. Get those winged insects out of there. Pair of 6s.
He's probably going to get into some trouble and lose some extra chips here. Now he does have some equity, obviously.
The 3,500 does get called. No improvement for the 10-6 on the turn, as both players now check. Pua taking it easy with the presence of that king on the board.
I think Nick is going to go with check, and then versus a value bet, he will decide whether or not to turn his hand into a bluff or fold, most likely. Let's see if he does it. Obviously, these are these are plays that I'm creatively thinking of that I think are reasonable, but are not a favorite to happen. But just giving everyone out there.
Raised to 50,000 from Petrangelo, putting that 10 of hearts to work.
Going down for those two. Those ones get paid.
Yeah.
Puma.
And credit Pua here with the 2 queens, which also are a form of blockers to the queen 10, which really is the sort of hand that Petrangelo would be looking to represent.
That's all I got.
And Pua
The 2 blockers to the nuts.
makes the call with the 2 blockers to the nuts. A massive decision there. Brewer with the 2 jacks makes it 3,500 to go.
Ooh, Seth with a pretty nice hand here.
Yeah, the kind that threatens these 2 jacks.
Small blind versus tight under the gun opening range. Goes with a call against maybe somebody in a later position. Might have 3-bet a little bit more often, but just wants to call and lock up that value here, seeing a flop.
10-4 deuce, an overpair for the jacks. As Davies king-queen suited. Checks it over to Koon, who quickly checks as well.
A lot of incentive to bet here. Davies here with a hand, especially versus a bet of this size, that I expect him to continue with, given the backdoor spades.
And indeed, he does call the 5K as Koon slides out of the way. 22,000 in the middle, and what a card that is on the turn. It gives Brewer a set of jacks, while it gives Seth Davies the spade draw and an open ender.
To get value from and charge along with value hands.
3-0.
Oh, wow, and he goes over bet.
Yeah.
His hand is just so big here with the open-ended straight and flush draw, right? I mean, if you're folding this, you're just really never continuing versus an overbet.
All in.
Yeah, and I like this play, even though this is the play I would have picked. So, unfortunately, he ran into it, but it's just too much hand.
Big sweat here for Chris Brewer in this massive 277K pot. And the ace of clubs on the end gives Seth Davies Broadway, and who can blame Brewer for having that expression on his face as he is dusted. As Brewer's got Zippo and Davies up to 312,000. Good for the chip lead at our featured table. 2 newcomers and Dos Caballeros for Navarro.
To be fair, Addamo's getting dealt in. He's not just he's not completely out
Yeah,
of line. He's
yeah. The ace 10 suited is definitely playable, kid.
Jack 10, yeah, he's had some hands, and he's sticking to his regular proceedings and going to go ahead and put some pressure here. Navarro actually with the decision now to play coy or spring a bit of put some money in the middle, and they're deep. These are 2 guys with a lot of chips.
Okay, it closes 4 o'clock to 7:30.
In comes the
Okay,
4
thank
bet
you.
to 66,000 from Navarro.
Oh yeah,
now,
there is
and
a good buffet
the
here.
ace 10
that you can
suited
go to on
beginning to
break.
shrivel
Yeah,
somewhat.
I might just check at the buffet real quick and come back and take a look at this. Okay, thank you.
Addamo sticking around and comes up short on a queen 9 deuce board. Navarro with the overpair, out of position against the Aussie, 140K in the middle.
Let's see what Addamo goes with here.
He's going to call this 45K and find out what Navarro's all about on the turn.
Oh my goodness.
Nut, heart,
Wow.
draw, picked up by Addamo now as the queen pairs.
Let's see what he does. He may not slow down, and it looks like he's not, as we see him grabbing chips. So
The extra 90 slid in
Yeah.
on the flop is just not enough to get Addamo out of there. And this is where he's not maybe charging enough from the nut flush draw.
let's see first what Navarro does. And he was kind of counting out a bet, it looked like, as he put that time bank out. And he is going to bet, wow, 150. Ali, is he? I mean, this is fascinating
This is
because
milky.
if somehow, I mean, does Addamo? Is there a chance? I mean, could he really go? How savage of a bluff would it be to attempt it when your opponent leaves some left? I mean, this is also why. Nice. He just, you know, at that point, really, there's not much to do there. It's either shove and really hope to try to make him make like a insane laydown, which you couldn't really bank on. So well played by Navarro. Nice pot.
Because you know I'm crazy. I know you are crazy too, so.
Speaking of good hands, Addamo with another one here. Ace-king under the gun. And again, Dvoress is a customer with the Jack-9 suited this time.
3-1 leads, almost a little greater, 77%. You see the equities there. Possible chop run out, 3-5
I'm injured,
for a
but
couple percent, but
started play tennis a bit, paddle.
Everyone's talking about paddle nowadays.
Very, very dynamic and nice game. I like it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Both players whiffing
But
on the
it
6-4
kills your
deuce board.
game.
Board pairs on the turn.
Good.
Dvoress checks back. Clubs get there. Addamo's checked it to
I
him.
guess it's not as good because you're really often like being at 180. So like this is 160 maybe.
Are you going to
But
come
the
with
problem
another
is
heroic
that I
move?
don't play well padel.
Okay. But usually, you know, it's a partner game. It's 2 and 2 always.
Oh, okay.
So
All the
you
colors of the rainbow
you might be cold as well.
How is it? Is it like
are
more
put in there.
when they play 2 on 2 or
48,500. And again,
On padel,
Dvoress
Yeah.
I think
trying
there
to
are
steal
questions. I think there are
Addamo
no
bucks.
matches,
Yeah.
One by one. But
he's just trying to think, what is happening here?
when he smashed,
And what do I beat? You know, what am I
side
beating?
of the court, the ball goes
I
quite fast.
don't know. This
and
one looks
comes
way
back
more
to
interested
play,
for
so
him
that's
than
one
the other one. It
problem.
was sort of obvious. His
Yeah.
facial
Always win.
tell early. He kind of laughed, you know, and he does ultimately make the call.
Oh, yeah.
to
And
block.
this time, Dvoress is busted. Flush draw
Yeah.
for Ponakovs.
No space.
After he got in there from the small.
I prefer to
So
play
that you can
tennis.
do this.
You know, keep my opponent on
I
the
know.
other side.
Ace of clubs working. Middle pair, top kicker.
If you play like
It takes so long to get to a high level.
There's potentially
got
one of
there
them.
yet.
The queen of clubs, which gives
So many
Ponakovs the 10 high flush. However, Aido now
like for a
with a
short
draw to the
period and
nuts.
pretty bad one.
now a decision for Aido.
Wow.
Trip 9s on the end for Aido. This could make it very difficult for him to get away from his hand. And that ace of clubs is going to be very important as well in terms of factoring into a potential decision for Aido to raise.
Goes for the super small sizing. Not a big sizing. Still, Ponakovs went for like 20 or 20, like 30,000.
Yeah.
Would he have re-raised that? Now it's just.
Oh, look at this, though. That 6,000 has induced Aido to shoot it up to 33,000. And with the board paired, Ponakovs obviously not going to be tremendously comfortable.
Where it was before. But
Wow.
Race 90.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Ambitious. And Aido pays it off.
Wow. Really, really nice
Nifty
extraction of value there from Ponakovs. Look at Navarro. Got the chip lead and checking a little temperature over there. Wants to see what's happening. You know what he says? I've noticed you've been quiet. Let's see. Maybe you're just itching to play. I'm going to go ahead and pop you up. The King 5 offsuit.
He's got big stack energy.
Yes.
25,000.
All right.
Position and the big stack will go a long way, as will hitting top pair. Up against Greenwood's Queen 10, which finds itself in
time bank being used, so he's interested.
He is sitting on 234,000, but obviously Navarro with the big stack could press very hard.
They could raise.
When I miss a seat or something, yeah.
Sort of how the way it works. Like, it's better to stay longer.
Not good for health.
Greenwood can fall through. Now there's some cards he's just probably going to shut down on. I mean, I just can't imagine anything else but call here.
Once you like start your
Right? Although this hand has seen 2 unorthodox turns, so the King 5 off is a little wide, and then the Queen 10 suited check raising when you got 3-bet pre. And hello, equity is come in on the turn.
7 of spades giving Greenwood the backdoor flush draw.
If you are Mr. Navarro here, you kind of start thinking like, all right, I got a little saucy with the King 5 off. How could things get out of hand? I flop top pair in position, and now here I am sort of guessing. And wow, unbelievable. He did the whole enchilada right there.
40,000 gets piled on as Navarro asks for the full amount. Certainly not giving Greenwood credit for a 7, let alone
this is
a hand that's going to be able to call this King 5.
He's thinking about, I mean, he's going to not fold. He cannot call, but he's just doing a little bit kind of like, where did this go wrong? I actually turned to equity. This wasn't part of my plan. Normally, he's just going to get called there by almost anything.
Ace 7-6 here as 2 players have flopped. Middle pair on an ace-high board. Navarro outkicked by Dvoress. Closes the action with a check and makes himself queens and 7s on the turn, promptly in position against a field of 3.
Yeah, Queen 7 suited. Hard hand to play, hard hand to make a lot with. There's a 2-pair situation. And a 4-card rainbow out there. No flush draws available, and he sees a bet. Just going to call.
Gives a glance over to Dvoress.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hello, 10 of diamonds.
It just doesn't feel right. Jungle says bet your gutters. There it is, and that is quite a card. I mean, it looks like Dvoress had, everything in order, all in check. Just got a fade 10, got in position, best hand, and Ponakovs.
Well, Dvoress very much was looking to kind of flat and then let Ponakovs go off on the river seeking value with 1 pair, maybe an ace, with the queens and 7s being dominant. And now he is the one in danger.
I think this is going to be a really meaty sizing. We saw him get that small bet before and then get a raise in. I mean,
a brief bout of heartburn for Daniel Dvoress as he calls the 1.5x sizing from Ponakovs. Gets max value. Ponakovs, WSOP, Greenwood, and Aido in that order, and it looks like ElkY has joined the festivities here. And Cow announcing his presence.
How much both your stack? You cover me? And where's the raise?
Navarro at his Wheaties today. He is getting aggressive, and king 5 off, shot it up, queen 8 suited, gonna qualify for him.
Well, at some point, that king 5 hand is going to become available for the players to see. What's going on here is WSOP defended against the 3-bet and has flopped himself trip aces while Navarro has air. 12,000. Pretty downsized.
Yep. And if this is a flop, you have control, you 3-bet, definitely going to favor. You're going to have some king queens, king jacks hands that just don't really want to stick around, missed it. But as played, he is not going to get a fold from trip aces. And Ali looks like he's going to go for a bet. He's grabbing chips.
Yeah, and perhaps exercising a bit more caution given the board texture on the flop and WSOP's willingness as the pre-flop raiser. Rui calls the 29,000, and Navarro is drawing dead.
Oh my goodness.
This is a disaster card for Navarro. WSOP has to have quads or pocket kings in order for this queen 8 not to be a winner.
Right. And kings are super unlikely. And look at that, though, because look at good awareness there to check back. And that is, wow.
Ace king will 3-bet the WSOP open as Navarro on the button goes to work on this 8-5 suited.
I don't like in general to eat at the table.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
I'm hungry.
Not option. No other option.
Yeah.
Like dinner break only 30 minutes.
10-8-7 advantage WSOP as he has
Wasn't
himself
good here?
middle pair.
I think I'll get bored. There's only 2 options for me, so I'll get bored of it.
A check back from the ace king. Now
I
the
guess
10 pairs on the
in general,
turn,
not
giving
very
Rui
vegan.
a flush draw
Yeah.
to go with the best hand,
There might,
and he doesn't waste any time
Sorry?
firing.
if there isn't like a vegan option on the Chinese, so if they don't have one,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
I'll have to talk to Ben about it. Ben ran around and just like really keeps a great restaurant.
Wow.
Like,
So,
A lot of things.
London's great as well.
yeah, I mean,
And 80K, the sizing in the 98.5. So the hearts have come in as well.
bit frustrating probably too, right? You go from thinking you probably have the best hand and actually having a redraw, and then you now are faced with a large bet on the river, and you don't like what's happening.
What they put like on
It's all
top.
vegan and it's like, it's pretty, it's almost
WSOP does seem to
it's pretty damn good. I forget the name of
make
it.
good decisions and finds himself, when you play a lot of hands, you got to make good decisions because you're going to be in a lot of precarious, difficult. Rob just have ace king, got jammed on.
What are the blinds?
Yeah, I'm
26.
excited to commentate.
Raise 15.
I feel like watching intently for 11 days or 12 days be a really nice prep heading into the World Series, right?
Yeah.
Study what players are doing, break it down, talk some
Not
possibilities.
big enough for me to fold.
What is it for?
Ace king versus ace 3, and this is actually not a joke anymore for Rob because he is flop top and unorthodox, just snap check back.
Wow.
I mean, this is actually kind of a wild thing all around, right? The check back flop, and then wait, and now check again.
Yeah, he's going for a check raise,
raise,
probably. Yeah. He's hoping basically kind of what happened, a delayed AC bet or maybe a king or just maybe now picking up a bluff. Okay, call.
Wow, and I mean, with this exact run out, I mean, I guess he's just gonna call. Although, I mean, it's super. It seems kind of like passive to play ace 3, but this run out is not amazing for the.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if he can check raise anymore.
It's a bad feeling.
Wow.
Not-
He's saying I got a bad
We're on
feeling.
stream, we can show each other our cards anyway.
I have 2 pair. I flopped 2 pair.
No.
Yes, I did. I mean, donation.
Yeah.
You save money.
Yeah, it's almost like he thought he had kings
right?
or something on the
Yeah.
turn.
Nobody has seen him before, at least on a Triton cast. Not saying he hasn't been seen at card rooms or online. I'm sure he has. But Triton, this is his first. And everybody flops straight draws here. There's 2 cards that everybody's sharing. Everybody's sharing 1 card with one of the other guys in hand. A little interesting mathematical game. I mean, obviously in this ace-10 kind of gets the shaft.
Like I was just starting from such a base of unfitness. I would think you'd be. Ooh.
Lay the hammer down or just call out of position.
Does have the queen of spades too, so I think he's trying to think like, what's the likelihood of my opponent's betting flush draws? Do they actually have some value here? What's the best way to proceed? But this is so far going according to plan. He's got a nice trap set, not really having to dodge much here.
Well, this is definitely the play you would make as Watson if you could see Aido's hand.
Oh my goodness! And I just think in my head, like, there's literally nothing that can go wrong. And if a spade comes, you're aware, right? Pretty obviously. But this is the one that's sort of a disaster because, like,
I think he's calling if a flush comes. Just definitely going to shove. He is just, you know, in the full.
I don't think he's definitely.
So he's not shoving. He's going with like a large bet that leaves him. Okay, so I'm losing to ace-queen. I'm chopping with queens. How often is my opponent value betting here without a straight? If he is, will he call?
Oh, I did go for it and gonna get snapped and unlucky on that.
To 80K, says Addamo. Asking for an extra 50 if Heath wants to proceed with Jack-6 suited.
Wow, I didn't necessarily think he would limp call this, although it's suited and he could have the best hand like he does. This just shows Ben's comfortability to go post flop, and look at this flop.
Top pair against middle pair.
Probably just gonna go check jam. Oh, if he bet, that was.
Check
I'm sorry, not check jam. Check bet.
Addamo,
jam.
who then hits a 10 on the
goodness.
turn to jump in front.
This is bad news for Ben.
No doubt about it. He chooses to check it over to Addamo, who has so much hand here. Sure enough, he starts the process by betting 60,000. Heath mulling it over before deciding to make the call. Needs to hit a jack here. Instead, he hits a 6, and it's irrelevant. Jacks and 10s with a 6 is his hand. Trip 10s for Addamo.
Yeah, I mean, look what misses. Queen 9, 8, 9, diamonds. There's just no way he can. I mean, you can't blame him. He even gets. It's just.
Look at that unceremonious dispatching of Ben Heath from the feature table here.
Yeah.
Almost incredulous.